Hey everybody, this is Dr. Maples. One of the most common questions I'm asked as a sociology professor is what kinds of jobs can a sociology major get? Well, I can tell you about that, and I'm actually really excited to share that sociology majors do really well on the job market. It turns out that the very things we train you to do on a daily basis in the sociology major are the very job skills that employers want right now. But here's the problem. Put sociology into any job search engine and see what comes back. Not a lot. In fact, it's going to be mostly social work jobs, and that's about it. It's because employers don't use the word sociology when writing those job descriptions for sociology majors. Why? I don't know. So what we've got to do is change the way that you do searches for majors. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to talk about the basics of setting up a search to get you started. Then we're going to think about some common categories where we find sociology jobs and even some very specific kinds of fields where lots of our majors work today. What I then want to do is flip you over to thinking about some very specific language that's going to help you set up search engines that will find sociology jobs for you, and you can apply for them. Finally, I want to put that search into just a little bit of perspective because I know you may be a little scared hitting the job market, and that's okay. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Now, first things first, where do we begin? The first thing we got to do is have a competitive resume and an awesome cover letter that we're going to revise for every job search because every job is a little different when we apply. I can't talk about those today, but I've got separate videos up that you can use to build that information. Likewise, there are dozens, if not hundreds of videos on YouTube that talk about these very same things. So check those out. Once we got our cover letter and our resume ready to go, let's get out there and start applying for jobs. And what I suggest doing is setting up profiles on websites like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, USA Jobs. All of these are job websites that are out there that list jobs, sometimes for very specific sectors like the government jobs and USA Jobs, or they just list them for everywhere like Glassdoor. But what these will do are let you take a practice run at developing you as a worker, presenting yourself as a worker, getting your materials uploaded and ready so that you can apply for jobs. Also, the greatest thing that these really can offer for you, besides the job listings, are that they offer email search job agents. And what these little amazing things that didn't exist when I was very young, what these things do is they help you search for jobs by keywords. They basically let you put in lots of different terms, and then they narrow down the millions and millions of jobs out there to some very specific terms. Now, we're going to talk about what those terms are a little later in this lecture. We'll also help give you some job categories and specific sectors that you might want to look at. That includes, by the way, applying it for jobs at your university where sociology jobs are in high demand. Now, in general, what we want to do is set those up so that every week, every day, maybe every month, once you're a little farther into the job market, you get updates about the kinds of jobs that are out there and you apply for them. You put in your materials and you apply for them and you see what you can get back, what kind of cool opportunities will come to you. In fact, I want to encourage you to not only set up these search engines, but set goals each week that you're going to apply for the jobs. Even if it's not the perfect job, even if it's not your dream job, because let's face it, at this point, you're not going to get your dream job just yet. Got to put in the work to get that. But apply for these jobs, get your feet in the door, meet new people, learn new skills, and just broaden your skill sets and your talents and more. So apply for the jobs. Now, once we get our job search started, we do want to think about some of the common sectors where we find sociology jobs. And over the last 5 or 6 years, I've been really monitoring the common areas where my sociology majors find jobs. And I've put together this list in addition to the common words that we'll use in those searches on the next slide. But they include things like data analysis, where a lot of my students go to work and they make really good money doing it. Sometimes that's for companies, sometimes that's for nonprofits, sometimes that's even for social media stuff like Facebook and Twitter and so forth. Those are a great place to look for sociology jobs. They include human resources and things like inclusivity programs. These are often businesses or even colleges or universities or regional government jobs where we're trying to include everyone in a community and understand what inclusivity means, or just try to understand who works for our company and manage issues that pop up with working with personnel. Similarly, there are tons and tons and tons of social change organizations out there that have perfect sociology jobs. You can tell these, some of them are government, some of them are nonprofit, some of them are for-profit, but they all are focused on specific social problems. Things like food inequality, resource inequality, adoption, addiction, and more. Any social problem that you're interested in, there's an organization out there that serves that field that would love to hire you. Government is another really common area, as are universities and colleges. We often forget that when we graduate from college, it doesn't mean you have to leave. Many students take jobs at the university, and it turns out that universities and colleges love to hire the people that they just graduated. We want to keep you there. You're part of our family, and we want to keep you around so that you can sort of invest in making our university and college even better. Assessment and marketing are also really common things because sociologists are good with data, they're good with trends, they're good with demographics, and that's the bread and butter of that field. Similarly, there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of other jobs that are out there for sociology majors. Don't feel limited to this. In fact, what is sometimes easier is to set up search engines that use these terms that I've selected over time that are commonly found in sociology major jobs. Now, I always think about sociology jobs as being about social change. Sometimes the terms that we use in lectures actually will even pop up right there in the job ads. So that's exciting. Things like diversity, community, and partnerships will sometimes pop up in job ads. Similarly, too, we see that there's a lot of common job titles for sociology majors. So what I've done here is over the years and years of working with sociology majors as they hit the job market, I've collected data on students getting jobs, their job descriptions, and I've also searched for jobs that to me seem like good fits for sociology majors. And I've made this sort of code list of things that you could use in your search engine. You don't necessarily want to put all of them. I would pick and choose ones that are interesting to you. You could set up multiple searches to see which ones reveal what jobs. But use these. They're here, they're pure gold and super valuable, so put them to use. Now, again, I've got them into 3 categories. I've got them in common sociology job words, I've got change terms, and I've got common titles. For the sociology job words, these are things that pop up in lecture, again, like research, markets, population, media, advocacy, and more. For the change terms, we often think about what organizations are going to address, what they're going to fix. That could include things like regional or planning, modeling, impact, diagnose, integrity, disabilities, underserved populations, and more. Finally, I've really started noticing a lot of common phrases in the titles that sociology majors are getting. Things like in admissions at universities, planner, analyst, consultant, interviewer. It's a cool thing. Everybody likes to do interviews. Advocates, directors, specialists. These are common titles that we see popping up amongst sociology jobs. Again, I can't stress this enough. Pause the video, take a picture of this slide, whatever you need to do. But these terms are pure gold for helping you on your search. They're going to help you weed through a whole bunch of jobs that you're not interested in with your degree and pop up with a whole bunch of jobs that you would not have considered just by thinking about what a sociology major might do. This is going to help you set up your search to find a job that's going to make you happy and to some degree fulfill you. Now, one of the exciting things about sociology is we give you job skills that employers want. The things that study after study show employers want in their new employees is stuff that's provided in the sociology major. Things like doing analysis, collecting data, telling us what it means, summarizing it, problem solving, thinking about really abstract ideas and finding reasonable solutions, presenting big ideas in very small packages. We're pros at that. Inclusivity is something that we understand better than probably any other major out there. Creative thinking, trying to fix a social problem requires massive amounts of creative thinking, so we're skilled for that. Even interpreting trends, data, ideas, we're really skilled at that. In short, work these ideas into your cover letters and resume. Talk about your talents. Upsell the abilities that you have because employers want what you have to offer. Don't forget that. Now, a couple of parting things that I want to share as you put your job search into perspective is you do kind of need to make it sort of into a part-time job of sorts as you work on graduating. Start applying for jobs now versus waiting for 6 months or even till after graduation. Start now. Many employers might go ahead and hire you on a part-time basis or just agree that you're going to start the day after you graduate. Similarly, apply for jobs, not job. Don't sit around waiting for a dream job to open up. Apply for all the jobs. If things are coming up with those search terms, you probably qualify for them. So apply for the jobs. Let them decide that you're not the right candidate for it. And by interviewing, you get some practice. You might decide that that's the perfect job for you, and you didn't realize that based on the description. Make sure you keep refining your materials. Don't stop with your resume and your cover letter just because you got a job. Keep fixing it. Likewise, if you get an interview, if you get a job offer, think about what you listed in that cover letter that might be a little different from the other ones. Use those ideas. If they're successful, continue with them. Make sure you learn new skills and new certifications too. There's new stuff that you need to learn. You need to grow as a person so that you can stay relevant to the job market. Set some goals. Say, I'm going to get this certification in the next 6 months because I'm going to grow. I'm going to add 3 lines to my resume by the end of next year, and this is how I'm going to do it. Think about those things so that you continue to grow as a person and as a worker. Use your networks. If you know people who have jobs in particular fields, say, hey, I'm graduated. Here's what I can do. And by the way, I'd really like a job. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Networks are a great way. And sociologists understand ideas like social capital for that reason. But networks are a great way to get information about cool job opportunities, internships, and more. Finally, I can't stress this enough. Your first job, it's not your forever job. Your first job is your foot in the door. It's helping you prepare yourself for what comes next. It's showing you that you are good enough and smart enough to get work and to do some task for someone and get paid for it. That first job is very rarely one that we stay with. In fact, it's just it's a stepping stone of sorts. It's a learning spot. So realize that when you apply for jobs that aren't necessarily your dream job, understand that you're going to have to put in the hours, you're going to have to put in the work if you want to try and get those dream jobs. And let me tell you, your dream job is out there because I found mine. So take the time to put in the hours, develop your materials, use those search terms that I provided, and get on that job market. If you got questions, if you need help, I'm here to help you. Feel free to get in touch with me. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care. Go apply for some jobs right now. Do it. See ya.